Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Hope you all had a safe and happy New Year and you're ready for 2025.
Yeah.
Today, Col and I have decided to make a few little videos to help people. If you're on the road or thinking of going on the road, what we found and what we feel you might benefit from knowing.
Yeah, some of the things that'll help you along the way. And that starts with preparation and planning and a few other things.
So I've decided, Cole doesn't know what's happening here, I've decided that the most important thing is your relationship with who you're travelling with.
Yeah.
Really, this is a pivotal point when you're on the road. Trust me on this. Cole and I have been married 48 years.
Yeah.
And we get on, I would say, very well. But when you put us into a tin can with wheels, sparks start to fly. Not every day,
And
but
not from a
some days.
broken axle or something.
No. You have to have a pretty solid relationship. If you're living in a house with your partner and say they leave their socks lying around on the floor and it really irritates you, multiply that by 1,000 in a caravan and you'll see what I mean. So it's not all unicorns and rainbows when you're on the road, and I want people to understand that because I've met a lot of unhappy women well, not a lot, but a few unhappy women while we were on this trip. And it is tough because you're stuck with that one person. You don't know very many other people at all. And the people you meet are acquaintances usually, not family or friends. So you're limited with your conversation. So it does get a bit challenging sometimes. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
If you have major differences, my advice to you is don't get in a caravan and travel around Australia.
Because you've got no shed to escape to.
What are you doing out of your shed? Go on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really, really important to think about the relationship you have. I had an incident when we were up at Cobble Gorge. A lady was in the swimming pool. She was right at the other end of the swimming pool. It's a big, big pool. And she was crying her eyes out. And everybody was like looking at her like going, what's going on here? So I went over and offered my assistance to her. And another lady came over shortly afterwards and discovered that they had been working for however long, 50 years. They've both retired, they bought a caravan, and they've never really spent incredible amounts of time together. And within 3 weeks of being on the road, she hated his guts. And so it was really hard, and it was hard, very hard for her. So I felt very sorry for her, but we chatted to her and tried to help her, and I hope we did help her. And if she ever watches our YouTube, I do hope you sorted it out and you found happiness again.
Yeah.
But it was heart-wrenching to see someone that distressed. So before you go toddling off into the wild blue yonder, maybe rent a caravan and go on a little road trip before you decide to commit to spending, $150,000 on a van. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. I might add that we started off our married life the first 2 years living in a caravan. So
Yeah, but we were young and in love, like we were googly-eyed at each other.
Aren't we still?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. If I can see you, I haven't got my glasses on. Hang on, I'll just remedy this. Oh, it is you.
Yeah.
Google. You can cut that out if you want. So when you're on the road, sometimes it can get quite boring, especially if you're covering miles and miles or kilometres of desert and country that is all the same.
Yeah.
I think for our next trip out, we're going to listen to some podcasts, download some podcasts
On the road, yeah.
on the road, so we got that to listen to, and get some better music than my playlist that just keeps going over and over. So we need to get in touch with our technology and start to really think about what we're doing when we're in the car for hours on end.
Yeah, when we're travelling, we'll normally get up in the morning, we'll hitch up the van if it's not already hitched up, if we haven't stayed overnight with it connected, and we'll get away usually about sort of 10 o'clock in the morning. We might drive on average, say 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, that's about all my brain will take.
Yeah, to the next point, and that's enough of a drive for the day.
For us, it is. Yeah, other people find they like to drive all day long.
Yeah, if you're travelling around Australia and you're going to do the big lap and you're going to do it in 3 months or something like that, you're going to be driving an awful lot every single day. But that gets really, really tiring. So we're just the grey nomads. We're not in a particular hurry to get anywhere.
Yeah, we're lucky. We're not. We don't have to get back for work. We don't have to work. We're just moseying around.
Yeah.
And sometimes we might only go half an hour up the road. Sometimes we might do 4 hours. It all depends where we're going, what we're doing.
Yeah.
But still, it is quite boring sometimes. The other thing is with the caravan life is chores. So Cole and I have always, if there's a job to be done, one of us will do it or we do it together. But we've always done that in our entire marriage. So when we're in the caravan, it's fine. I will empty the cassette. I'm quite happy to go to the dump point.
On the odd occasion.
You're getting yourself in trouble.
Yes, dear.
We share the cooking and we share the chores. We've got our own little washing machine on board, so, you know, we just chuck some washing in.
But who does what? That's the thing. And to avoid sort of a lot of arguments, we've got a particular system.
Hang on, we've got to go back a little bit. I've got to just explain how this came about. Years ago, we were in a four-wheel drive club and we used to go out camping with the four-wheel drive club. When we arrived at the sites, everybody else used to be there and they would be all set up and with their wine and their beer sitting out their vans or sitting outside their tents. And they would all be facing colonised site. And the reason was we were the entertainment for the afternoon. I am a control freak and I admit it. So when we would be putting our site up, our tent up, I would be saying to Cole things like, oh, for heaven's sakes, don't put it in like that. That can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And we were the entertainment. And we just didn't get along with it. We went camping with our youngest daughter. And she pulled me aside one day and said, Mum, you can't do this. This is ridiculous. What you have to do is you decide what jobs you're going to do, and Dad, you decide the jobs you're going to do. So we made Cole the infrastructure officer.
Yeah.
So anything to do with the outside of the van or the car or anything that needs to be fixed that I can't obviously fix easily is Cole's domain, strictly. If Cole wants me to help him, he has to give me specific instructions or I will not move an inch. And this works for us.
It's a safety aspect as well.
When my role is food, beautification and entertainment most probably.
So what are we making tonight, love?
We're making homemade pizza.
Ooh.
I even made the dough myself. I'm just rolling it out.
You're not spinning it around your hand like the professionals? Oh, here we go.
Something like that.
Oops.
No, we're not doing that. I mean, if we wore those colours, people would think we're crazy. But they can get away with it. But it is funny when we go onto sites and we're putting the caravan on a site, I will just stand exactly where Cole wants the back of the caravan to be, and I say nothing. And we get on so well with this system.
Yeah, the first thing is when you pull up at a site, you've got to have a look. If it's in a caravan park, they're going to have allocated spots and you might have a concrete pad there and you've got to know where it is. And sometimes because of the angles that you're backing in, you may not be able to see exactly where that is. So little CB radios are handy like that. You can use your phone, ring each other and talk. But if it's a site where like a free camp or something and you might want a particular outlet, just check to see what you want to look at first and say where you want the angle or where you want the caravan, and I'll get Rose to stand right at the back corner of the caravan where I can see her in the rear view mirror, and I'll be able to put that caravan right up, and as long as I don't run her over, we're good.
He does try sometimes. But yeah, mainly I just go and stand where the back of that van's got to come in, and Cole puts it where he needs to put it.
Yep.
And it just works really well for us. We were up at Raven's home last year. If you're a regular, you'll know that. And a big van came in, and the wife was like a screaming banshee. Honestly, everybody in the caravan park came out because we couldn't believe the way she was talking to her husband. It was very, very degrading and embarrassing for him. And quite frankly, I would have unhitched the van and driven away if it had been me. But there you go. So think about why you're conducting yourself when you're reversing your van in. Whatever you do, don't take advice from the bloke who rolls in with his stubby in his hand, because 90% of the time he's half cut and he has no idea. So, just be aware that sometimes advice from strangers isn't always a good idea. Is it,
The
Cole?
first couple of times backing a van can be a little bit difficult because you've got to try and remember which way to turn the steering wheel. Here's one little hint. If you want the back of your van to go to the left, put your hand on the bottom of the steering wheel and move it to the left, and the caravan will go where you want to put it. So there's a little tip for you.
That's a good tip, Cole. The other thing that we have in our van too is a reversing camera, and that does make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
It also makes it easier on the highway too, because we can watch what's coming up behind us. We can call them on our two-way. If we have a big truck come up behind us, we can call them on our two-way and say, when you're ready to go by, we'll back off so you can get by quickly. And that we found that an absolute godsend. So you need to have a UHF in your car, and maybe a camera on the back of your caravan. Really is a handy tool.
Yeah. Accommodation. So you've got your caravan and you're going to park it somewhere. Where are we going to go? So you've got caravan parks, you've got showgrounds, you've got free camps, you've got sporting clubs, you've got pub stays,
Servos,
behind some roadhouses, that sort of thing. There's a
fields.
whole range of things, and we'll probably just touch on a few of these.
Yeah.
So if you're on a budget, we set a limit of say around about $40, but that works well on the country roads in back areas. But if you get on the coast, if you're trying to find somewhere on the Sunshine Coast for $40, that's just not gonna happen.
No, you have to move inland.
Yeah, it's particularly during like holiday periods. At the moment, it's about $100 a night or something like that at some of the parks.
That's why we're home on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're on a real tight budget, then free camping. But if you have got unlimited funds, then you can go and stay in all the big caravan parks with all the jumping pillows and that sort of thing, which is sort of really not our sort of style.
Definitely not our style. We mainly try to stay around. It all depends. We mainly try to book under $42, somewhere around there. But sometimes, like when you get up north and you're going to a place like in Hot Springs, when you're going to the hot springs, you're paying for those entry to the hot springs in your caravan park site. And that's fair enough. As far as I'm concerned, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't mind. We use our own amenities. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't use their own showers. They don't use their own toilets, which in my mind, I don't know why they would even bother to buy a caravan with them in that if they're not going to use it.
Yeah.
So we use ours all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, we've been away this year for quite a long time, and I don't think I had a shower other than in the caravan the whole time.
Yeah.
So we're people who use our amenities. I do still like to check them out though and see whether they're clean or, just what they're like. And I don't think we found anywhere, everywhere we stayed, even the $10 places, there's one place I can think of, they were clean. They may not be modern, they may not have the supersonic bench tops and things like that, but they're clean, and that's the main thing. However, so having said we use our own amenities, we do use the park toilets. Only time we use our toilet is in the evening or in the night. So so it works well for us.
But yeah, some of those low-cost campings, the showgrounds, they're generally around about sort of $20-25 a night, and that includes power and water hookup. So in our last trip, it was during the summer, and of course we headed north.
And it was so hot, northwest.
Yeah,
not just
sort of.
north.
Yeah. We needed the aircon, so yeah, we haven't got enough battery power to run a full air conditioning system, so we pretty much had to pay for camping every single night.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just the way it was.
We did find quite a few deals.
Yeah.
And you know, you're better off to ring the caravan park yourself rather than book it online, and just ask them, have you got any deals at the moment? Because I found deals that weren't on any websites or anything.
Yeah.
Like stay for 3 and you get the next one free, the next night free. We also had a criteria, which was because of me, a swimming pool. Didn't have a swimming pool, I wasn't staying there, or a local swimming pool that you could access easily.
Yeah.
And so that it worked out well. But our next trip out, when we go down south in March, we will be mainly trying free camping.
Yeah.
No, we've done a few farm stays which don't have power and water, and they've been really good. So I'm looking forward to getting out of the caravan parks.
Yeah, there's the showground camping is actually
good.
quite good. One standout was a little place called Aramac. There's the Lake Dunn Sculpture Trail, all sorts of good
that's
things
amazing.
there. Now that was it $10 a night? No, $20 a night for the first 2 nights. The next 3 nights
We're free.
were free. We stayed there 10 days.
We stayed there 10 days and it cost us $100. Power and water. Local pool was $1 because we're seniors.
And that was the
$1.
cleanest pool you'd ever hope to see.
And it was a lovely stay.
Yeah.
It was really good. We were really worn out because we've been on the road for quite a while, and we just wanted to stop.
Yeah.
And it was a great town to stop in. So that's Aramac.
So that'll give you an idea of what's actually out there.
Yeah, what's out there.
We stayed at a gun club at Roma.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guns weren't going off all night long. They stopped about 5 o'clock in the
Yeah.
afternoon, and it was
all
a
right.
lovely, quiet camping area. That was really good.
Yeah. With staying in caravan parks, some parks it's Sardine City, and you have to put up with people who, I don't know why, they have to start their car up, half an hour before they're going to actually drive it, because these days engines don't need to be started up half an hour before you drive them, grandpa. So, that's frustrating. The other thing is neither of us are smokers, so if you were put next to someone who smoked, that was pretty yucky. So that's the thing with caravan parks. Some of the caravan parks we stayed in were wonderful. They were very spacious. You had room to park the car beside the van, and there was heaps of room. There was one in 1770, Agnes Waters area. What was that one called? Summit?
The Summit?
The
Yeah.
Summit?
Beautiful.
Yeah, really nice sights and really a nice little park. The other thing is people that you meet, just be aware that some people will befriend you to try to build your confidence so they can take your stuff or whatever. Just be careful of that. Most people are really nice.
Oh, most people are
They're
fabulous.
fantastic. Yeah, we found God, I hate to say this, but it's true. We found the people on the inland roads were way more friendly than the people on the coast roads.
And that's probably the fact that the inland areas have got heaps of room and you can spread out a little bit. Yeah, and you can escape. But yeah, some of the caravan parks on some of the the real popular areas, you park that far away from your next door neighbour, you open your window and you'll knock them in the head as they walk past, sort of thing.
So that can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
That's horrible. So that's about all on that. Let's talk about hobbies. Things to do when you're on the road and you are pulled up for a couple of days. And yeah.
Yeah, could be because of the weather. Could be too windy to go out doing stuff, or too rainy or whatever, and you're stuck in a tiny little town that's got nothing. You need to have some sort of entertainment.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's only so much TV you can watch.
But having said that, we've got a TV with a DVD player in it, which we chose to keep because it's really handy actually. We carry a few movies with us, but what we do is we go into a op shop in a town and we'll buy a few movies, and then, because it's like 50 cents, and then we'll take them back the next day and leave them there, or we'll put them into a library at one of the many caravan laundries.
Yeah.
Having said that, we were in the laundry at one of the caravan parks, I can't remember which one, and Cole's a John Wayne freak. It drives me insane. Anyway, I found these old, this box set of John Wayne movies. One had been opened, the other three were still sealed, and I know why. And they were from 1936.
34 or 36.
34 to 40, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And we watched, it was very hot where we were, and so in the afternoon we would whack on a DVD and watch the old John Wayne movies.
Stick the aircon on. And
Absolutely hilarious. They were and they were so misogynistic. They were so just inappropriate. It was hilarious. We really enjoyed it. Anyway, I took the set over, finished watching them, boxed them back up, took them to the library over at the loo to get rid of them, and we moved on. We were down in
another caravan park.
Yeah, we were at where we went for the
Ruby
Vale.
Yeah.
And I was outside in the annex and I could hear this music and then this speaking, and I recognised it as one of the DVDs that we'd watched, one of these John Wayne movies. And I said to the man, he'll be right next to me, I said, "What are you watching now? You're watching John Wayne." And he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "we were up at wherever we'd been, we found this box set of John Wayne movies. It's really awesome." I had such a laugh, and I said they were ours, and I thought that was funny. So if you're in the caravan park and you see a box set of John Wayne movies, old John Wayne movies, they were most probably the ones we got. So that's really handy. The DVD is really handy. We read, we play cards. We have
the card wars.
Yeah, card wars. I'll tell you what. And they're good to play with a bottle of port. Okay. Or whiskey. Make sure your partner has enough alcohol that they don't see you cheating and you'll win all the time. What else is there? I'm a mosaicer, so I took mini mosaics with me this time, but it really didn't work out. They're heavy, you need a lot of room to work, and I found it was a bit hard. I do mindful colouring in. I'm trying to make it sound good instead of just go, I do colouring in. But you can only do that for so long. Cole's an artist, so he paints.
It sort of drives Rose nuts because, I'll go and paint somewhere. I might be there for 2 or 3 hours. Rose gets bored after about the first 30 seconds or so.
No. I'm usually all right on painting days. It's editing days that I go nuts.
Yeah.
So at the moment I'm looking around for a different hobby. So if anybody has any suggestions, sensible suggestions,
Please.
It has to be lightweight, easily packed into a caravan, and can be done inside when the weather's bad. So fishing is out. Well, we do fish, but fishing is out. It's just something you can just do besides read, watch TV and play cards.
Yeah.
So if anyone knows of any games, I was playing on the phone, but my eyes are hopeless, so I just kept getting killed by these little monsters. So those games on the phones aren't much good for me. So if anyone's got any suggestions, and just remember I have the attention span of a sparrow, a goldfish.
A goldfish.
Yeah. So come on, Toby.
Yeah.
So it is important to have things to do.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
And there's only so many cakes you can cook because you end up really fat.
Yeah, like we're afraid of cake.
Yeah, we're not afraid of cake. But we're going to trim, and talking about that, we did put on a fair bit of weight. when we were away last year. So this year we're going to lose some weight before we go, and we're going to be a little bit more careful.
We'll see.
Yeah. Chocolate brownies. Blah. So cool. I hope that this has helped people.
Yeah.
They found it useful and
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. If there's something else you want us to talk about,
We're
let us
quite
know in the
happy.
comments.
As long as you can handle the truth, that'll be fine. Yeah, so I hope that that's helped you a little bit. We are going to do a couple more videos of actually packing the van and hitching the van up and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Preparing,
getting ready.
which is important.
Yeah, and I think that the main thing when you're on the road, just going back over what we talked about today, is your relationship too. You just make sure that that is fairly solid before you go. And you've already talked about things like, like we've covered, loneliness, boredom, things like that. It's really important to be open and honest, and so that you can resolve any issues that you come across on the road, instead of just yelling you're a dickhead like some people do. Not us. Okay, thank you. We'll see you in the next video. Like and share and all that stuff.
Do all that sort of
and
stuff.
please, if you've got any hobbies for Rose,
let us know.
let me know. Okay, bye-bye. Puppy, Nanny Rose is going to go and drive through Nolan's. Bananas!